Good morning, people of Earth. Welcome to the fucking news with me, Deek Jackson, on the 7th of November 2020. The planet's fucked. It's your fault. It's getting worse. I hope you're going to have a great day, because this is as good as it's going to get. The news today. Sorry, my dog's going daft over something. Hey, stop that. The news today is Joe Biden has taken part in a prayer service with representatives of all of America's greatest religions to plead with God for 4 more years of life. Joe Biden is so close to death. Kamala Harris is trying on the Oval Office. Really, I am, of course, preempting the election of Joe Biden, which now seems somewhat assured. Although delayed by some, expensive lawyerly process involving, suing, counter-suing, giant lawyer fees, endless CNN and Fox News specials about where we are now in the litigation. But at the end of the day, I believe, I'd put money on it, good morning, Ole, I'd put money on it that Joe Biden will be the next liar of the United States. And therefore, since he's pretty close to death already, I think really you've elected Kamala Harris. Whether he dies or not is kind of immaterial, because he's a doddering old fuck who can barely remember where he is. So the business of government, the process, they will wheel him out for the press conferences with a pre-prepared script, and after an injection of Thorazine, or meth, or whatever it is gets him going, baby blood. Yeah, a boomer corpse. He's a dead man walking, and Kamala Harris is rubbing her hands in glee, and she's probably preparing to jump out of the Oval Office cupboard. Every day Joe Biden goes somewhere, Kamala Harris is hiding in the cupboard or under the desk. He opens the presidential limo to get in. She's got the scary mask on, various ones, the Scream mask, whatever you think might get Joe Biden. She probably puts a Trump mask on and hides. Picture the scene. Joe Biden turns up for his first day at the White House, and Kamala Harris is creeping about wearing a Trump mask, jumping out from behind every door. Very bad, very bad. I haven't left yet. Joe Biden is a dead man walking. 9/11 Stewie, good afternoon. So 4 more years, please God, for Joe Biden to save you from the uptight, bitter snow queen that is Kamala Harris, whose record previous to this is a rather hard-bitten, hard-faced, determined, overarching legislator who will regulate every aspect of your life like a femdom mistress. Honestly, Kamala Harris's strap-on is the length of Florida and as wide as Texas. And Kamala Harris, you good, and you'll beg because that's what you wanted, isn't it? Democracy, regulation, proper government, none of this demanding that, international institutions be transparent and honest and be held to account. No, the Biden-Kamala government will suck the cock of the United Nations. They will. They will go down on all fours and suck the United Nations cock till the United Nations comes buckets in them and they shit the United Nations. Enduring image there. I have been reading a lot of erotica recently. Sarah Cowley. So something to look forward to there from the Biden-Kamala regime. I don't know what you'd call it. In other news, 3 men were banned from the National Park of Yellowstone and fined for interfering with a hot spring because they were preparing to cook a chicken in it. Now, I'm sure there are certain protections on the national parks of America that are necessary, but stopping people broiling a chicken in a geyser seems a little extreme and unnecessary, And also, it only says they discovered them preparing. I mean, I would fight that case all the way. No, man, we were gonna eat the chicken raw. or we were going to use it for target practice. I think, you know, there'd be legal grounds for an appeal there. In some news about the woke nightmare that we live in, Anne Hathaway has apologised after the depiction of her character's hands in the film The Witches was accused of being insensitive towards disabled people. What disabled people? I mean, I'm sure there's a few people. You know, famously, that guitarist, he lost his finger. What's his name? He plays the guitar with... thank you, Richard, for the donuts. I will dunk one in my coffee on your behalf. What's the name of the guitarist? He played with Ozzy Osbourne, and he lost his fingers on his last day at the job. And thank you, 9/11 Stewie 2. Good morning, Richard. Anyway, I forget his name, but he lost his fingers, and he turned out to be a great guitarist. Tony, yeah, Tony. Man, he could play the guitar with no fingers. So he is disabled because he has no fingers. But, you know, there can't be that many people this has offended. It surely didn't offend paraplegic car crash victims because they've got all their fingers. So, you know, who this offends, I don't fucking know. Someone who really believes, she wrote, Anne Hathaway, as someone who really believes in inclusivity and really, really detests cruelty, I owe you all an apology. All you people missing 6 fingers, whoever you are, wherever you are. Step forward now. Give us a wave. Give us a wave, all you people missing 6 fingers. I am sorry. What the fuck is she sorry for? She's a fucking actress. She didn't write it. She didn't produce it. What the fuck is she sorry for? And who is she sorry to? Honestly. And what now? What, we can't have, like, horrible monsters who've got burned faces? What are we going to do for disfigured baddies if we're not allowed to show people who look shit or who have bits of their body fucked up? Are you people fucking shitting me? What the fuck? You know... Biden moves closer to the White House. He got a caravan. He's got a caravan, like a Formula One trailer. He's parked it just outside. That's now where he lives. That's actually his medical team. They're in there with a life support system and some bottles of baby blood. That's how he's moved closer to the White House. Yeah, I'm not doing any more Biden. Good morning, Capricious. Do I think he'll live that long? I'm hoping he makes it to January. I really am. Although maybe not, there are constitutional complexities about a president-elect dying before inauguration. It doesn't have to be Kamala Harris on the ticket. They could now select, you know, some young senator from fucking, I don't know, Nevada. Anybody if he dies before inauguration. I like this picture just because it's obviously an opportune photographer there with his eye on history. All right, in other news, okay. This is the story about the army in Liverpool to do the mass testing for the coronavirus in the United Kingdom. For those of you not familiar with the story, here's a quick recap. Britain is suffering an incredibly dangerous pandemic which has killed less people this year than a bad year of flu. It really has. Those are the official Office of National Statistics. Every month for the last 3 months, less people have died this year than last year in the United Kingdom. Those are official Office of National Statistics. So, of course, what we need is for the army to seal off one of our major cities, right? Because so few people are dying. We need the army to seal off one of our major cities and impose a testing regime on the entire population of that city with the army. Check this out. Okay, feast your eyes on the British Army. Now, I have a couple of thoughts about that, all right? One of them is, don't those trained killers look nice in their pretty little aprons? Don't they? Boys, you thought you were signing up to tote your machine gun into war and be a heroic baby killer. But now, you're just a fucking wet nurse. You're the equivalent of a G4S security guard. You're a fucking nursing auxiliary. Anyway, that's one of the things I think, you brave, handsome, strong, murdering warriors there with your little pinnies on, waiting to wield a cotton bud. I've got your cotton bud. And just let me put this cotton bud up your nose. Tomorrow I'm going to war against the jihadis in the desert, but first I'm going to put this cotton bud up your nose. All right, well done, you brave fucking baby killers. Okay, the headline here says, City begins mass testing. And there's a quote they've lifted from some poor fucking moron. It says, it will help us live more normally. What kind of normality did you have in mind? What kind of fucking normality is it where the army has sealed off your city and you're being forced to take a medical procedure by someone wearing camouflage? What fucking piece of normality is that? Answers on a postcard, please, to it's not fucking normal. It's far from fucking normal. The people of this country should right now be storming the barricades. Instead, I look around as people jog and wash their cars and go to McDonald's and buy a pint of milk and go about their business as if this is normal. They have normalized abnormality. We have been boiled like frogs in the abnormality hot water. More coronavirus news from Denmark. Denmark has been added to a travel quarantine because of an outbreak of the coronavirus in mink. Now, mink are a small furry mammal, a bit like a bat, but with no wings. So it should really be no surprise that a small furry mammal has caught the coronavirus. In fact, we already knew that dogs and cats can catch the coronavirus. The story here is, if you believe that, we're just, there is a danger, claims the journalist after speaking to some expert. There is a danger that the coronavirus has mutated in transmission to the mink and back to people who look after mink in a way which would make the vaccine less effective. Now, there's a number of things you could think about that. What do they mean less effective? Because there's never been an effective coronavirus vaccine. The common cold, the flu, none of these things have an effective vaccine. The seasonal flu vaccine is at best a little over 40% effective in mitigating the effects of the flu. And at worst, it's completely fucking useless. David Ali, good morning. So I don't know what part of the vaccine's effectiveness they're worried about. Maybe if you're infected with mink coronavirus, the vaccine doesn't kill you or make you infertile or make your brain swell up or make your spinal cord snap. But anyway, if this is the way forward, all right, since dogs and cats and other small mammals can be infected with coronavirus, we're going to have to cull the world. Surely, why stop at mink? You should come round and do my cat in, and my dog. You should do everybody's cat and dog in, and all the sheep, and goats, and cattle, because they're fucking mammals too. And if mammals can get it and retransmit it in a mutated fashion that you're worried about, whoever you are, the Misterons, we are the Misterons, then you should kill all small furry animals. Pussies. In other news, Singapore, somewhere in Singapore, passengers have embarked on a cruise to nowhere on a cruise ship which will not be stopping anywhere. Cruises were halted because of the coronavirus, but now 1,400 passengers have climbed aboard a ship where they're instructed to wear masks at all times, even when they're eating. They've all had to have feeding tubes put into their colon, and when it's dinner time, what they do is they go to the restaurant and they plug in a tube, and waiters come round and pour blended meals down into their colostomy feeding tube because they have to wear masks at all time. The desperation of these people to bob about on the ocean must be akin to some kind of mental illness, an obsession with bobbing on the ocean. Why would you pay to do that? And some comment now on, this is journalistic editorialization. He's from a guest columnist, Justin Webb. I don't know who he is, but he looks like a plonker. He says, good luck trying to reunite a fiercely divided America. Good morning, Fraser. I must say, I'm having trouble. These are my reading glasses. I don't just wear sunglasses to look cool, by the way. These are bifocals, and I use them for reading. Can't be bothered wearing or carrying two pairs of glasses, so excuse me if I can't read all of your comments. So good luck trying to reunite a fiercely divided America. And he writes 4 columns here of his pish about how the divisions in America are so deep and so wide, and they can't be bridged, and Trumpism's not going away, blah 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 blah. But in fact, a good war will sort that out, no problem. Honestly, it's not just Americans who are have mobile or transient political positions and emotional, states, feelings, thoughts. Everyone has transient thoughts and feelings that can move from one state to another quickly and easily, depending on the circumstances. I swear, one good war, the people of America will be, as to a man, woman, and child, standing behind that flag, hand on heart, singing the national anthem in unity while they watch niggers be bombed by a corporation who doesn't pay any tax or support their society. And speaking of freedom and fantasies, in Britain, a gym owner tried to claim that the Magna Carta, the historical document establishing the lack of divine supremacy of the king. A lot of people think the Magna Carta establishes the sovereignty of the people or the freedom of the people, or it's akin to a constitution. It doesn't. Honestly, that's pish. What the Magna Carta does is say that the king, on his own authority as a single individual person, does not have a divine right to take land back from barons that they already possess. The Magna Carta was a way of the barons coming together and say, well, I don't want the next king to take away Yorkshire from me and give it to his cousin. I want to keep Yorkshire, Devon, Cornwall, Shropshire, Bedfordshire, wherever it is. The Magna Carta was signed by barons who owned the people of the country. It was not signed by the people of the country. It did not benefit the people of the country. It was not designed to benefit the people of the country or provide them with any leverage for freedom whatsoever. And people who think the Magna Carta is some kind of constitutional document of freedom are living in a 1,000-year-old fantasy. This is like the free man on the land, sovereign individual pish, which is also pish. So no surprises then that the gym owner who put up a copy of the Magna Carta and said the police had no right to close it was arrested and his gym was closed. And you can look forward to the army shoving a cotton bud up your nose while you spout pish about your freedoms in Britain, because we don't have any. Oh, and here's more commentariat from fucking journalists who obviously, people have got to write pish for newspapers. I get it. It's your job. You know, the newspaper is basically an advertising rag. You know, it's got to have some copy in it in order for people to see the adverts and not just think they're looking at a fucking magazine full of adverts. So people have got to write pish. Here's some pish from Patrick Coburn. At least 70 million Americans voted to put Donald Trump back in the White House, despite witnessing his constant lying, open racism, and lethal incompetence. Now, he's saying that as if it's unique or unusual. What's so different to our government, to our constitutional monarchy, a white breeding family breeding white people for a white monarchy that's stretches back to the mists of fucking time, who are the richest family on earth and own more of this planet than anyone else. presiding over a essentially rigged and fixed parliamentary democracy system that ensures that the people who have power remain in power forever and ever and ever. What's different to that? People didn't vote for Donald Trump because he was Donald Trump, I believe. Because Donald Trump's plainly a fucking twat, right? People voted for Donald Trump because of what he represents. He represents an opposition to the woke, regulated, PC, left-wing, communist, totalitarian pish that this guy is trying to sell you. I don't care if you're a racist, if that's your thing, fair enough, whatever. My mum's a bit of a racist, to be honest. She doesn't like Packies. She doesn't. What are we going to do with her? Re-education, put her in the camp, subject her to woke left-wing fucking tirades on Twitter. Fuck you. People can be whatever they like and or want. That's my libertarian stance. What they can't do is do it to other people. I'm not against you being racist or populist or nuts. I'm against you having any influence over me. I'm against you and your cohorts or the people you elect or people you represent having anything to do with me. And I believe the people who voted for Donald Trump feel like that as well. They're against government having anything to do with them. They're not for necessarily Donald Trump and his pish. And I think that all of this slavering and havering by the world's media against Donald Trump is really insulting. It's insulting to the people who supported what Donald Trump stood for rather than what Donald Trump is. Anyway, one last story. Wealthy nations need to do more on climate change. Yes, they do. Wealthy nations need to do more fucking. They really do. That's not what this piece says. That's just what I think. Wealthy nations need to do more on climate change. They need to make more shit that we don't need and poison more of the planet that we haven't poisoned yet and destroy more of the environment that we haven't destroyed yet and fuck up shit that we haven't fucked yet before people finally catch on. Before people finally catch up with the idea that there is no other planet. There's no plan B. This is it. This is where we live. This is our air, our water. This is where our food comes from. And within 10 years on this planet, there will be more plastic in the ocean by tonnage and weight than there are fish. Nom, 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 nom. Tuna steaks, anyone? Lobster, crab, cod, whatever. It's fucking plastic. It's a plastic ocean. It's a poison sky. And it's a fucking... it's a future of mass moronic consumerism to death. Have a great day. I'm gonna, and I'll see you tomorrow.